Hey traders, so let's talk about, does trade frequency equals to profitability? So this is a topic I literally just discussed last week, where if you forgot the lesson or if you haven't watched the video, please go to our education channel and look for this. Does increasing your trade frequency equals to make more money? The game of sustainability on 6th of November, mindset sharing. So today, because earlier, two of our traders, one was Benjamin, another one, I forgot which one of you. We have a few Benjamin in our group right now. But yeah, why these days you are seeing me reducing my trade frequency? There must be a reason, right? So let's talk about what is trade frequency for some of you who don't know the terms. So trade frequency basically means how many positions you take in terms of your daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. So I normally measure trade frequency by monthly or weekly. I don't really measure one day because on some specific day, maybe there are more opportunities presenting itself, and I'm happy to dial up my risk, and I'm willing to embrace more risk, more decision making, more trades. But on certain times where market is slow, I can go up to 3 to 5 days without any single position. And earlier, one of our trader, and he asked this. He said, "Hey Neil, if I were to increase my trade frequency, does it mean I'm going to make more money?" Because he said, let me pull up the conversation. Just give me a second. So that was the entire conversation. He said, "Hi Neil, I know you mentioned that trading more frequently doesn't mean more profitable. Personally burnt many times also due to overtrading. Now I finally did some backtesting on my own strategy and realized yes, got high success rate, but 1 year could be only 5 to 7 trades per forex pair." That is also a very tricky one. I'll go into that later because I only tested pound Aussie with 2 years data, 2022 and 2023. Want to ask you, what's a good trade frequency per month? I know it differs because depending on your risk to reward, your risk per trade, depending on your effective risk management method. Maybe take it as max 2% risk per trade and RR at least 3R. Why I ask is also because yesterday I saw you traded so many times in a day. Wondering, is it I under trading? So to answer this question, so I have different personal accounts. So on my main account, which is the one currently I have about 500k dollar inside, that one is very how can I say, it's very risk averse. It's very safe. I don't go crazy with that because 500k 1% risk is already $5,000. So on that main account, I normally risk very little, and that account I don't normally share out because I want to protect the account details and everything. But on my small account, let's say yesterday it was a $20,000 account, I'm happy to embrace more risk because that's just a very small part of my allocation. I have a main account and I branch out to different accounts. And it goes back to this. He said, when this trader was doing his back testing, not sure what his strategy was, but he said, I realized that I have a high success rate, but 1 year could only be like 5 to 7 trades per forex pair. Again, 5 to 7 trades. The first question mark is which time frame, because if you back test on the daily, obviously you're only going to get 5 to 7 opportunities per year. But still, I don't really understand what does it mean by only 5 to 7 trades per forex pair, because that's very conservative. When I'm doing back testing, I have at least over 100 trades per year. That's the bare minimum. That's why I don't really understand why do you only have 5 to 7 trades per forex pair unless you are looking at an extremely high time frame like a daily or the weekly. Otherwise, I just I don't understand why. And let's talk about why. Indeed, yes, the answer is yes. Trade frequency does equals to profitability, assuming all your stats remain. So what does it really mean is, if you want to increase your trade frequency in order to generate more returns, that is true. Because if let's say today you are taking 50 trades a year, let's say right now you're taking 50 trades per year, and on average you make about 100 R per year. That's your statistics, based on your edge. If you were to double the figure from 50 into 100 trades per year, obviously you now has the potential to generate 200 R per year. Simple math. But the question is, are you, now the question mark is, are you able to maintain all stats? Are you able to ensure all stats being static while increasing your trade frequency? That is always the trickiest part about increasing your trade frequency, just to get more return. You know why? When you increase your trade frequency, remember, increasing trade frequency equals to more risk exposure. Your net risk exposure goes from 50 trades a year. Let's say you risk 1% per trade, that's 50%. Assuming if you have the worst year possible, lose all of the 50 trades. The worst case scenario, you are going to lose 50%. Make sense? But when you double it, your risk exposure also double. So don't only think about the bright side. Oh, you know, if I were to increase my trade frequency, statistically I can make more, right? Yes, but your net exposure also increases. And another big thing is, does the increase in trade frequency still work? Because sometimes we have an edge because of a specific approach, of a specific system, of a specific criteria. The moment when you start tweaking it, you might end up messing up your entire edge, or you might accidentally kill your edge. And that's why when you try to say, I want to increase my trade frequency, there's a few ways you can increase your trade frequency. So remember this, a few ways to increase your trade frequency. First one will be, the most direct one is to embrace lower quality setup, which means, let's say 50 trades a year, you are only aiming for those, A+ quality setup. Right now you're embracing B setup. It's okay. That means you have a looser filtering process. Second thing is you widen your watch list. That means from, let's say, from trading 5 forex pair, you increase your watch list to 10 to 15. That will also indirectly or directly increase your trade frequency. These are probably the two most straightforward way to increase your trade frequency. But to me personally, what's the best way to increase my profitability is to actually know how to hold on to a winner, or if you want simple, risk a bit more. Risk per trade, you just simply increase your risk per trade. Or another safer way, or at the same time also the toughest way, is to the safest plus toughest way to increase your trade, increase your profitability, is to have a good eye on identifying A+ setup. Either you risk more or skill in more, or hold on to them. To me personally, the most sustainable way to increase your trade frequency to increase your profitability. At the same time, making sure that you know exactly what you're doing. Plus, it's something that will require a lot of effort because you have to do a lot of reviewing, a lot of forward testing, a lot of fine tuning, including mastering your entry and exit position, have different entry models, have various skill in criteria, having multiple trade management criteria. Once you fine tune all of these aspects, that's when you get good at holding on to your wins. Identify what kind of trade is likely to give you in a 5, 10, a big runner. And also at the same time, you know how to scale into your position. To me, the best way to increase your profitability is always through the safest and the toughest way, which is identify a plus setup. Either you risk more or scale in more, hold on to your winner. All right. So I don't agree, when traders say, oh, Neil, if I want to increase my profitability, the only thing I have to do is to increase my trade frequency, right? Of course, yeah. If you increase the trade frequency, it does increase your overall, P&L as well. Because if you can remain everything the same, assuming every single variable is static, your filtering criteria, the way you select your setups, the way you do this, blah, 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 everything the same, trade more equals to make more. Also, at the same time, if you risk more per trade, let's say you 50 trades, you make 100 R, right? Let's say you risk 1% or let's say 2%. All you do is you risk 4% per trade. This will become 200 R. But the main thing is, are you able to handle it? Sometimes emotionally, you cannot handle it. Some traders, they are good at risking 1%. When you ask them to embrace a higher RPT, higher risk per trade, they cannot handle it. So what I want to share through this lesson is, don't think from one dimension. You have to really sort it out. What kind of direction am I heading towards? And do I want to risk more per trade? Do I want to embrace lower quality setup, increasing my trade frequency? Or do I want to be so good at identifying the highest quality setup and scale into my winner? So to me, this is the best way to increase your profitability. Right, this one, trying to increase the trade frequency, increasing your risk per trade, they're not bad, but a lot of times you are just increasing your net risk exposure. The best way is still, the toughest way is to get so good at identifying high quality setup, and then you hold on to the winner, because that will require you to practice your pain tolerance. That will require to get so good at your grading system. That will also force you to embrace, embrace giving back profits. So that's it for the lesson, and I hope all of you learned something new. Talk to you later. Bye bye.